there's like a slight delay, I think, on the Zoom.
That's peculiar.
Well, maybe. No, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Sounds
We'll
all
have
right.
to do like sound checks or something like that once people start filing in. Is that webcam even focused on my face? Looks kind of blurry.
Hmm?
Eh,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how to fix it. It's not like there's a manual focus on that thing. Hello, everybody who's coming in. We're gonna be. Uh, I don't think I've done a podcast since Tom was here on the regular whiskey reviews,
Yeah.
and
And I haven't done one since November,
Mhm.
since number 69.
Yeah,
Nice.
nice. The webcam looks like it's focused on the computer and not my face. It's like I'm really blurry. I don't know. Do I look blurry on your end? Chat channel, do we look blurry?
Hmm.
It's not like I can change it because there's no manual controls on that webcam. Someone says bring it in a little.
Possibly.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna try to fix this. Of course, I only know how to fix it by moving the webcam around. So will it focus on my? I'm in focus here. Am I in focus here? Here? Yeah. Look in focus there. Yep. 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 Yep.
Right. So that's,
Yeah, it looks better. I guess it just needed to wake up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm screenshotting all the super chats in case.
Okay.
So
We also have a second tab open here,
rock and roll.
so we can use that as well, which was, I guess I can F5 to freedom with that. So, hello and welcome to RC. Oh, we didn't even do sound check.
Oh yeah.
I should do it on my phone. Or do you have it live on yours?
Yeah.
Can I up the
I gotta,
volume on that?
yeah.
Testing me, testing me, testing me. Sounds good. Sounds like it's peaking a little. Oh, really, I'm going to be this far away from it, so. Okay, now
Oh,
testing.
am I on? No, they're saying no room.
Try something now.
Try something now. Sounds about right.
All right, sounds about right. I guess.
So hold for room tone.
Sounds about right. I guess. What you saw me doing in the stream was hitting the mute buttons on our potentiometers.
Mm.
So so what would happen is if I turn this thing on and off like this, it probably is making a stuttering sound. Actually, I want to hear this. Yeah, it's good.
Tremendous. And there were some super chats up there that I
Oh, what super
screen
chats already went in?
Yeah.
As we were fixing this.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe double checking. I need to have the monitors here on the new Zoom. I have a new recorder now for RCR, which is a Zoom H6, and I think on this I can go a little bit higher on the stuff. Yeah, yeah. If I put it right on 3, it should be fine. Okay. All right, we'll be good to hold for sound soon then.
All right. Just scrolling up and afternoon. And that was the only one I missed. So let me grab a photo of it.
Oh.
There we go. Got it.
I wonder if I go to super chat on here and F5. That's not F. Oh, because it's a Mac. I need to do Command F5. No, I don't want voiceover. Oh, Mac. No, that's brightness and lower. Why doesn't F5 just do what F5 does? All right, yeah, okay. So there was 4 super chats right there. So we're ready to hold for sound now. You ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Welcome to RCR podcast number 70 in rare form. I'm Nick.
I'm Brian.
I know it's been a while since we've done this. I mean, it's very much on brand for the RCR podcast because basically we only ever do it when we feel like it. So that's kind of the schedule that we're sticking to. Sorry, but it's just something that we like to do when we're up to it. But for now, we're here. So get your questions in. You can ask us about whatever, what movies we've seen lately, what cars we've driven, what things are I don't know, but yeah.
And hello, welcome to Thursday in the middle of the day.
Yes. I mostly wanted it this way solely because we were writing earlier and we basically it's just easier this way to go from there to here and then be able to, like it's a wrap, 2 birds, 1 stone, rather than coming on Wednesday and then coming back to write on Thursday. I guess I'm being more like fuel conscious, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is a thing where, it's not like we have a shoot this week, so we're not.
We already did.
Yeah, so
did it last weekend. We're not filming until next week, midweek, and we were just writing the script for week after next.
Yes,
and then we just came right here.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm not partaking in the middle of the day. This is Ryan's, which is the cheaper Bailey's, and it tastes just like Bailey's, and it's half the price.
Yes.
So go for it.
I mean, it seems very much like a bottom shelf Bailey's replacement.
It was on the bottom shelf.
Yeah, it was on the bottom shelf. But like, if it tastes the same and you can get it for like under $10, maybe.
What was this? $8?
It was like $8
and change. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Like, who needs to be drinking top shelf stuff all the time? I mean, it's going to have the same effect anyway. It's just a matter of whether or not you like the taste. And I think for a lot of people, I know I'm one of them, I don't really care about taste that much. I mean, I guess my whiskey, I kind of do. Like if it's that hard shoe leather type thing, which I know is how you know it's good, is if it
tastes bad, it's good.
Yeah, it's like Listerine. Like if it's burning, it's working.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's we were going to start this earlier, but Brian actually bailed me out of a rough spot because I was getting in the car. My seatbelt sensor was not recognizing that I was seatbelted. So for a week now, I've had it going off maybe 4 times and then it'll stop. So basically on a drive, it'd take maybe like 10 minutes before I didn't have any more seatbelt chimes anymore. I looked up online for how to deal with this on an SN95, and they basically gave me this long sort of Konami code of instructions of you got to like click your seatbelt in 3 times and then you got to turn the headlights on and off and then you got to do the click again, and it's this weird thing where it kind of worked for a little bit, but then sort of the chiming came back. And so Brian, once you get like a problem, you want to fix it.
Yeah.
It's
like, nope, I'm fixing this right now.
Yeah. Which, hey, it's fine by me. I'll always appreciate a friend willing to help out. But you went to your place and basically you just unscrewed or unbolted the seats in the rear, and was able to get at the little seatbelt switch to be able to, you
Yeah, I
know,
grumbled about that switch because it's one of those electrical switches. It's like A4 something or other that can we just make electrical connectors you can take off with your hands? Do they always have to try to pinch everything? And it's like a weird secret clubhouse handshake to get automotive electrical connectors to unsnap themselves. I get that they're supposed to snap in and not come out, but never come out. Is the only way to get them out is to break them? Or do you have to have that like some weird special tool? Oh, just lift up on the thing. No, this one you got to push down and pull out. It's always a three-hand job. So I'm there with the extra tiny screwdriver, the extra thin one. I have this one set, and it's the cheap like $9 at AutoZone or Advanced Auto. They're all at the register. The little set of the screwdriver with the multiple heads, and they're all freakishly tiny, like almost eyeglass tiny. And that's like one of the top tools I use in my toolbox is those super tiny screwdrivers. Rarely ever for undoing tiny screws. It's always poking and prodding and
yeah,
pulling and prying. So I just bent up the little connector and then unhooked the seatbelt sensor. And now, hopefully, like when we turned the car on, there was no
yeah.
the
There was
seatbelt
no,
sign wasn't on.
yeah,
So hopefully we're done with this problem.
yeah,
Mhm,
and see, that's like I'm never going to forget to put my seatbelt on. That's
mhm,
I like even before the key goes in, my seatbelt goes on, which is actually a point of extreme annoyance for
yeah,
me because I'll forget to get the key out. Like I'll open the door, sort of instinctively put it back in my pocket, and then
mhm.
sit down, put my seatbelt on. I'm like, oh nuts, I need to get it back. So I'm like, it's weird, but yeah, I'm very glad to have that problem resolved. First noticed it on our last shoot,
Mhm,
which was kind of what made me late to that last shoot.
mm.
So it was very obnoxious, but it's gone now, and so thank you.
You're welcome. Does your car bling at the passenger if the passenger doesn't put their seatbelt on?
No, only
Ah,
the driver.
okay. I think my old Toyota Echo, a light would come on for the passenger to buckle their seatbelt, but it didn't make any noise. And I don't know if my Subaru does or doesn't do that. You ever get into you ever, I guess it wouldn't apply to the Mustang, but I think it was like that way when I had my Dodge Neon, my second gen Dodge Neon. I think it would yell at the passenger for not buckling their seatbelt.
Mm,
And you'd be driving along, you'd have that one friend that doesn't like seatbelts
yeah.
or just doesn't put them on, and especially when they're a passenger. So you're driving along and your car starts going bing, bing, bing for the passenger, and you don't want to say like, let's let this ride.
Yeah.
And bing, 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 and it's flashing at them, and they don't kind of even acknowledge that this um noise is happening. And
Mm,
I know this is kind of like an Adam Carolla line, but it's like the people who no longer notice that their smoke alarm is beeping with the
yeah.
low battery. It's like, "Oh, I hardly know. I don't even notice it anymore." And I wonder what it's like to be those people who just don't notice things. What
Maybe.
is that like?
Mm,
Is it like me? Like I don't notice to pay my um uh electricity bill. I mean, I do it once I get the email or I remember, "Oh, it's the end of the month, pay it."
yeah.
And sometimes I forget to pay it, and thankfully PPNL doesn't bust you if you're a month late. It's like, "Oh, right, pay it." And it's really just going on the website and clicking pay,
Yeah.
and it just deducts from your bank account. Maybe that's kind of what it's like to be people who just don't notice things.
I don't know.
Mm.
It would be. I don't know. I've often wanted to kind of be the type of person who doesn't necessarily fret about everything.
Mhm.
And I guess that's a subgenre of noticing everything,
Mm.
of being hyper aware of everything that's going on at all times.
Mm.
And I guess at some point you want to sort of put that in the back of your mind and be able to, but sometimes you just have a way of thinking that doesn't really turn off.
Mm.
You can't control that type of thing. It's intrusive
Yeah.
thinking. And I guess part of it is, if you try cognitive behavioral therapy or something along those lines, that maybe you can change your method of thinking to where you don't necessarily notice all these things or become detail
Mhm.
or as detail oriented or detail fixated.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the abstract, I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing, you know?
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Speaking of detail oriented, for those of people watching, you're holding a WWF Championship belt.
Yeah, for no reason. Yeah, I just have it. I got it for my birthday. Because I always joked about wanting to have a belt, and then like my brother actually got it, and because
Nice.
it was on like half off at Target, so
Oh,
it's
they sell those at Target.
yeah, because it's not like the real like leather. It's kind of
Is it an official WWF product?
yeah,
Huh.
yeah, and so yeah,
That's
it's
interesting that they would just sell the belt.
yeah. I mean, it's funny because it's like there are like they sell more proper replicas like that are real sort of like high grade material through the website, and so you can like pay $450 if you want
Oh,
one, and it's like, well, no, I'll just get the one that they have at Target for like however much, but
is the real one like honest to goodness like gold and real emeralds?
the replica one, no. The real one, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly don't know what they're made
Like,
of.
is there a real one, or like what if like someone has to have like the current champion has to make their entrance, and then are they responsible for holding on to the belt?
Well, this became like an issue with like AEW, like this new wrestling league, and because the world champion actually lost the belt. I guess he put it on top of the limo and forgot it was there, and then they
Uh-oh.
drove off, and somebody found it and turned it in.
Uh-huh.
But apparently he was getting like smashed at a steakhouse. So
Oh.
it's just if you're champion of the world, I guess you go to Longhorn. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's I don't know. I just felt like holding something.
Okay.
It's weird. I just I guess between the last podcast and now, I've become more of a douche bag because I have a members only jacket now, which I was looking at getting for my brother for the holidays, and then I tried it on, and I'm like, I must have this for myself. I must have it to wife. So yeah, that was kind of a yeah. But I suppose this could also be a sort of in memoriam of Rocky Johnson, who is the father of Dwayne the Rock Johnson, who
Ah.
passed away yesterday.
Oh, didn't know that.
So yeah, rest in peace, Rocky Johnson, who was really a far better wrestler than he ever got credit for being. Like, he's way more than just the Rock stat. But
Mm.
yeah, it's interesting. There was this uh, thing where like the booker in Memphis wanted to do this whole Antonio Inoki versus Muhammad Ali type storyline with Jerry the King Lawler and a boxer, but they couldn't find a boxer, so they got Rocky Johnson to pretend to be like a professional boxer who was like 6th ranked in the world. And
Okay.
then they sold out like a bunch of territories, but and then had him come in as a full-time wrestler and pretended to say like, well, you know, I have to train, or he has to be trained now to be a wrestler. Never mind that like he had already been a wrestler for like 7, 8 years before then.
Okay.
So it's just strange and funny the way that the territory system prevented people from knowing about things at a worldwide level or a nationwide level.
Way before
Yeah,
social media and people could
yeah,
just Google names.
and,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like, come on, we're not going to buy that now. But yeah, it's I don't know. I was kind of just gonna not address it and just like sit here with the belt the whole time
Yeah.
in my members only jacket and just
Yeah.
like, yeah, oh yeah, with the fringe that doesn't even have to be there, like it comes off, and like
Oh, it does. Oh, look at
it
that.
tucks under, so like I can look extra cool and totally like down to clown. But yeah, it's just yeah, no, it's on and
Uh,
popping. But hey, Ford versus Ferrari got in for Best Picture.
did they?
Yeah, along with
You watched that. I didn't watch
yeah,
that.
the nominations came in. So like it's up for I think 4. It's in the sound editing categories and film editing, which car movies of late are getting in for film editing, which
Hmm.
every year, film editing is comprised of 4 Best Picture nominees and 1 outlier that didn't get in for Best Picture. And so my
Uh,
prediction was that like Ford versus Ferrari wasn't going to get in for Best Picture, but they were going to get in for film editing. Well, they
mhm,
got in for film editing. Now, like all of them, I think are Best Picture nominees, like the
mm.
nominees this year. But like it's the year that Baby Driver got in for film editing, where it
Ah,
was kind of like it wasn't in for Best Picture, but they nominated it for editing, which is the most important nomination to have if you want to win Best Picture. But I think it matters less now than it used to,
mm,
just because those types of statistics don't really matter that much anymore. It's like
right.
we're in weird times,
Yeah.
but um,
Gee, I thought is 1917 also in for
yeah,
editing?
yeah. Oh, no, no, it's not. But
Not
no, but like the reason it's not is the same reason Best Picture winner Birdman wasn't, which is that it's filmed to resemble a series of long takes.
right.
And the Academy doesn't really view that as like editing.
Mm,
I would imagine the editors branch doesn't really see it as editing. But
mm,
I mean, Frontrunner Once Upon a Time in Hollywood didn't get in for editing. And so that's like a huge blow for them. But
mm,
I mean, it'll still probably win, but I'm
mm.
not really at the point of saying like this is what's going to win or not,
Does Tarantino have any Academy Awards?
Yeah, he has like 3, no,
Oh,
2, 2. He has they're in screenwriting.
okay.
So Pulp Fiction, oh, what was the other one for? I think it was Inglorious Bastards, but don't quote me on it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of those things where he doesn't have any for directing or for
Interesting.
picture. Like
Huh.
Tarantino movies never won Best Picture. So
Mm.
um
Should we get to super chats?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Starting from, I believe, the top, it is Quinn Dickinson. Thank you, Quinn. We were writing your car today. That's what we just got done doing,
Yeah.
writing your script. So, Quinn Dickinson's car, week after next, is going to be out. Hello, Quinn. Will Downs says, any memories of the blizzard of 1996? Yes, I
Yeah.
was a freshman in high. No, wait. If it was a winter of 96, that would mean I would have been eighth grade. And I do remember that. Uh, I remember uh, that was when WNEP TV and Newswatch 16, the watching your name scroll across the television, that wasn't quite in yet. So I remember in middle school, you would also listen to the radio the night before and they would announce it.
Yeah.
Um, but then by high school, they would show it on TV. Yeah, I remember the blizzard of 96. That lasted, I think we almost got a week off from school for
Yeah.
that.
I remember my dog, Buddy, that was the first winter that we had him, and he had to like go out to, do his business. And I remember like my mom, like, how do we, and so she just like puts him down in the snow and he immediately like sinks through it.
No.
I'm just like, oh, nuts. It's just,
Sorry, I hit the mic.
yeah, it was just an insane amount of snow to the point where you literally couldn't go anywhere. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't leave I'm not talking about like you couldn't drive anywhere. I'm talking about you can't leave the house. Like because the amount of shoveling that you would have to do, yeah, it's just like after a certain point, there's nothing's going to be open
Yeah.
anyway. Now we were lucky at the time because there was this small grocer literally down the street.
Hmm.
But then when we go over there, like they wouldn't be open either. So it's like there's no point. Like it's
Yeah.
not really luck if you're next to a place that isn't open. But Blizzard of '96 was out of control, and I hope that like I'm sure like kids would love to sort of have that sort of thing again. But
Hmm.
just me as an adult, I'm just no,
Hmm.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Um,
It'd like have a blizzard where we don't have to fly anywhere or go anywhere or do anything.
yeah,
But I think now, like the novelty would wear off after the second day. It'd be
yeah,
stir crazy. And it was fun because I lived, out in the country a little bit, and all my friends were in walking distance, so we could get to each other's houses during the blizzard, and we all had our sleds, and we would go to a bunch of different hills and play,
yeah,
and that was great. We were allowed to just walk on the road around, and some other people had four wheelers and snow machines, snowmobiles, depending on where you live in the country. And yeah, it was winter wonderland for a while. And I think that was also the winter where we had a like snow and then thaw and then snow and then freezing rain and snow and then ice. And I remember it got to the point where the snow got so hard you could walk on top of it.
Ew,
You didn't sink down into it anymore.
it's
And
wild.
that was badass because I had my grandfather's old runner sled with the steel runners on it. That only works in hard packed powder on ice, but when it works, it's amazing.
Mm.
It doesn't work in powder because it sinks right down to the grass and the dirt, and the sleigh doesn't go anywhere. The plastic slides are really where it's at. Not even the gimmicky ones, just the regular dished out sleds with two runners on the bottom. They were amazing. And I remember that was when I was really that was back when like when the special edition Star Wars came out, the
Oh yeah, mid
George Lucas
'90s.
abortion nonsense.
Mm.
But they were back in theaters, so the interest was renewed, and so we all went to see them. And I thought, oh, this is kind of neat, extra stuff. But I didn't really have an idea for a sense of uh, movie continuity, or I didn't care about the way movies were. I just wanted my Star Wars story.
Yeah.
So I went and saw A Star War in middle school. And I remember Tom and we knew the movies inside and out, like the original
Yeah.
trilogy. So we were like saying the lines as they were saying, and some scummer in front of us, like douchebag, said, "Will you guys fucking shut the fuck up?" And like, "You fucking nerds, fucking fags."
Yeah.
And that was back when you threw that word around.
Yeah.
There's this one guy at my gym actually corrected one time because we were talking about yoga. And this is like two adults talking to each other. And he said to me, I originally didn't like that faggy shit, but then and I said, well, about yoga. I'm talking to this guy. He's a good guy. I talk to him all the time. And it was weird that this was the first time I corrected someone. And I said, you really shouldn't throw that word around anymore, but I get what you're saying. And then he
Yeah.
apologized.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, to an extent, it's understandable. Like, I can't remember having cause to encounter the word, which is
mhm,
weird because, I grew up with the same sort of, jockish atmosphere, I
mhm.
suppose, where, curse words and things were always thrown around. But it's like, I don't know. It's strange.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not as much an experience that people have as.
Yeah, I know what you mean because I remember you would use harsh language in middle school and early high school because everything was a very Jordan Peterson dominance hierarchy and you were trying to climb it by any means necessary. And if using strong language meant you were strong,
Oh, oops.
I'd use it.
Yeah.
People flipping each other's off all the time.
Yeah.
We
What?
found out that was a bad thing to do. So whatever's bad, we're gonna do.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like flipping people off. That's just what people did at the time. I mean, it's.
Gosh, that was 1995.
Yeah. I mean, the '90s.
Yeah. And
Uh,
don't worry about the super chats. We're going to get to every single
we
one
will.
of them. We just,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was a long answer for Will Downs, 1996.
Yeah.
Danny Reed asks, "What do you think of the first gen Hyundai Genesis?" I think it's pretty cool. I'd like to review one if one comes around and the owner's cool and the car's in good shape. It's again, it's part of the rise of Hyundai, making fun cheap cars. It is a fun cheap car. Get good out of your head. It isn't great, but it's fun and it's cheap. So yeah, that's what I think of it. Thank you for your donation.
Thank you.
Bob asks, RCR, the Primus of car culture. That is a compliment that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wish I knew more Primus, but I remember Primus. Primus and like DOS games go together like peanut butter and then more peanut butter. Did your school ever serve
Yeah.
peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah.
Did they have the peanut butter and jelly mixed together into this paste?
No.
Okay. I remember Blue Mountain High School when we had PB&J sandwiches. You couldn't tell the peanut butter and jelly apart. I think it was this like government PBJ. It was like this gray mass in
Mm.
between the bread. And it tasted kind of like PB&J.
Yeah. Yeah. That's.
I gotta find other people for my graduate class. Like, do you remember the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? How it was? How it wasn't really peanut butter and jelly. It was just this mass in between it. I wonder if anybody else remembers that.
That
So
is,
thank you, Bob.
yeah.
PLN. I have no idea what kind of currency it has, but
Poland?
it's Poland
I don't know.
from Jacob.
Jacob.
Jacob says, I crashed my 2007 Volvo C30 on New Year's Eve when a deer jumped in front of the road. I swerved too much, lost control, and crashed into a sign. Well, man. You're okay, and that's important. Been thinking about replacing it with a 2002 330i manual wagon. Hey, a manual wagon, it's BMW. It's an older BMW, so be aware of Dr. Vanos. Take it to a mechanic and have them check it out before you buy it. And if the owner doesn't want you to take it to a mechanic to do a pre-purchase inspection, don't buy that particular car.
Mm.
Otherwise, manual wagon, always a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jacob. Brandon Young, thank you for your donation. What's going on here? It's only 11 a.m. Morning, boys. You must be on the West Coast.
Yes.
Yep, you are. And we're on the East Coast. It's the middle of the afternoon.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for tuning in the morning. Dan Edmonds for £2 says, picking RCR over sex is true love. I'm
Yes.
flattered you think so.
There we go.
Von Waffensberg, hello. It's good to see you again. What's up, guys? I've been gone for a while. Hope everything is good. Smiley eyes. Moving to Wisconsin in a few months. Thoughts on trying to use my 2013 Boss 302 as my all year? Well, okay. This is a question for Nick. So, what's it like driving a Mustang all year round? What are your suggestions for someone who's thinking of doing that?
Oh, I mean, like like the whole Christmas song from this past year was about the impracticality of driving a Mustang in the winter. But if you think about it, I mean, it's the same as, for me, it's the same as driving just about anything else that isn't suitable for winter driving. I mean, as long as you have all seasons or winter tires or whatever on your car, you should be fine. It's just not going to be a great experience. And you're going to have to do a lot of sort of maintenance to make sure that things don't get worse once the snow sort of thaws. You're going to have to be washing snow off of it and salt off of it. You know, you're supposed to be sort of taking care more than you would normally, just because it's such a fragile thing. Fragile isn't the right word, but that it's just not something that I would necessarily recommend. But I mean, my Mustang's my only car. Like, that's my daily, so that's what I drive in the winter. So it's something that I just sort of do. That's fine. And it should be fine for you too if you take good care of what you're driving, you know? And then Dan Evans, £2, says, my car kept making random bins. I feel Roman's pain. Well,
What's a random bin? Bins? Oh, Bing?
Bing, possibly. Either way, hope you got everything sorted. Speed of Sausage, $2. Any backup plans for when Kappa kills YouTube? Well, we're not kids content, so
Do kids drive? No, they don't.
Yeah.
So we got no problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
RCR is easy to market to. It's a car show. And every single time I go to double check an RCR review or watch other content, I just click on the video and it's O'Reilly's. Ow.
I keep getting the all these Ford commercials, and they always have the same song.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts because I'm sick of this song, and now I'm starting to get like commercials for local Subaru. You qualify for Subaru.
Really? You get Subaru commercials?
Yeah. Oh wait, no, sorry, Toyota. Sorry. You now qualify for Toyota things.
It's Toyota-thon.
Yeah. Endless trash. No, not really though. It's something where you kind of end up with a plurality of automotive commercials, because even though car stuff isn't the majority of what I watch, it's almost like they know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just everything from like, well, you drive it, zero money down, blah, 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 blah. And it's just, I don't even know where Eisenhower Nissan is getting this like advertisement from, or no, I said as a
Right,
hypothetical. It's not really
right.
them,
Yeah.
but like or Chuckleberg Chevrolet, it's you're wondering like, wait, so who else is getting these ads? What path do I have to take to unlock these ads?
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, more screenshotting of super chats.
I when I'm at the gym, I listen to a mix of classic hip hop and classic rock. Although the idea of what is classic hip hop is kind of malleable these days because like some I've heard stuff from the 2000s called classic hip hop now. And the ads I get are trouble paying your water bills? You can consolidate. And it's really specific like can't pay your water bills when I listen to this or I get YouTube music ads.
Yeah.
But it's always like are you in financial trouble? Which is like is that directed at the classic rock or the classic hip hop? I don't know because my mix on the elliptical machine, like I got really into Ludacris's "Roll Out"
Dun,
song.
dun, 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 dun.
The- it's like a scene where I wish my eyes were cameras because I mean, what do you call that hip hop of like the early mid 2000s? It wasn't exactly like bling hip hop, although that's when oh, wait, Big Pimp, and that was the
Well,
90s.
I was thinking of like because I was listening to this podcast called Mogul, which
Yeah.
essentially tracks a certain phase in hip hop history, and it's really fascinating stuff. And one of them was talking. The first season talks about this sort of music mogul by the name of Chris Lighty,
Hmm.
and he was the one who sort of got 50 Cent the sort of like deals that he was able to get. Like he got him equity in Vitamin Water before they
Mm.
got bought for what, like $4 billion by Coke.
Yo.
And basically just whatever tiny percentage of equity he got in that company turned into like $100 million for
Wow.
50. And the idea being that this was a period in hip hop where suddenly rappers are recognizing their earning potential is not solely in music or
Mhm,
touring or music videos or album sales.
mhm,
It's literally in endorsements. So suddenly you have hip hop stars with sneakers who have
mm,
energy drinks, who have, snack foods. Like even now you have those like hip hop potato chips where you get like the Cardi B flavor, you get the Migos flavor. And it's this recognition where other musicians realize this potential as well. So I think you end up with a period in hip hop that values the culture of wealth over the 90s where it was more like the lifestyle of,
mm,
of the streets,
yeah,
like, which is not to say it's not still about the lifestyle of the streets or wasn't still about the lifestyle of the streets, but it's seemed to be like this seismic shift from you know proving how hard I am,
mhm,
to sort of look at all the money I got, look at all this stuff that I can afford that I don't even really need.
mhm,
And then now I don't know if there's a term for it, but I kind of call it like designer hip hop, where
okay,
it's like Kanye West. It's almost like the like high end of
right.
hip hop of where
The
you know
Neiman Marcus of hip hop,
yeah, basically where
Neiman Marcus hop,
you get these really complex like production and
R and Babbage's, no.
this expensive sound, almost like the song Flashing Lights by Kanye West kind of sounds expensive. Like same with Dark Fantasy, even though he's not necessarily doing anything all that different from like what you would have seen in the mid 2000s. But
Mhm,
I mean, it's also the things that he talks about. So
mhm,
he's talking about, just Murcielagos and all these other like expensive cars, expensive clothes, and it's not presented as something that you should be ashamed of or shying
mhm,
away from in the same way that like, oh well, he wears like Gucci and oh look at him, he's all Metro or whatever.
yeah,
And it's like now people don't really care about those things, or at least I don't think they do in hip hop from what I listen to, which is
mhm,
admittedly a very small sample, but it ends up being that the culture sort of changes
mhm,
so that the things that get prioritized sort of change over time,
mhm,
which is true of any culture of
right.
anything, except video games, where I think pay to win and DLC and day one patches are going to be here forever. So
Yeah, because they're lucrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They pushed back the Final Fantasy VII remake by a month, which I mean, it's Square Enix, of course they did,
Uh-huh.
but like I was prepared to sort of, and this gives me more time to sort of like have an RCR stories done in the bank so that I don't feel guilty about playing it
Yeah.
because I still have something else that I'm supposed to be doing because I'm like
Yeah.
March 3rd is coming up way too soon.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm just going to disappear into a hole for like a week because I can't imagine it taking me longer than a week given how consumed I will be.
Right.
The original Final Fantasy VII took me somewhere in the lines of like 6 or 7 months because
Yeah, we were playing it during school.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
playing it during school. My memory card kept getting formatted by accident.
You had to
Um,
start over?
yeah,
Oh, shit.
and but in a weird way, it kind of made me love the game a little more over
Mhm.
time because I would notice things I didn't notice before.
Mhm.
And on those first playthroughs, I didn't get like Vincent or Yuffie, so
Okay.
now I got to.
Yeah.
Yeah, mm,
Nice.
fun
Anyway.
times. Reek with $15. Thank you so much. Hello, this is your warm reminder to drink warm brown, but don't eat brown snow.
Okay. I
BM
won't.
BMW electrical connectors are excruciating. In this case, the family 530i. I broke so much plastic to replace a fuse.
Yeah. I wish they would have somebody in like one of those Chinese uh replica like rip off tools things. Make a set of those electrical connector puller tools.
Hmm.
I will pay $100 for like 5 different versions of them just so I have them. So when I do it, need to take apart an electrical connector, I just have it. F5 to freedom, but I can't because it's a Mac. Where was Rec? Rec was the last one. There's Von Office.
Hang on. I screenshotted each one, so let me
There
go
was Rec.
back.
We got Woody Chelsery.
Oh,
I need to make an
Woody Cheshire.
Woody Cheshire. I need to make an eyeglasses appointment. Woody Cheshire.
Is that the most recent one?
Yeah, because Rex right below
Yeah.
that.
Okay. That was nothing to say. Just $5.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. This one's for me. P Melling 2293. Roman, what's your opinion on covering songs from artists who have committed heinous crimes? Also, have you encountered RCR Rule 34? To the latter question, no, although I'm sure it exists, like in fanfic form.
Yeah.
Um,
Someone posted on our Reddit page like a stylized version of me with Kyle and his move the mic closer with Kyle and his Corolla, and it was a like color paletted, swapped, highly shadow and highlight, high dynamic, super high dynamic range, and they morphed my face into a creepy smile and light coming out of my eyes. Because it's that one photo where I'm reaching toward the GoPro. It's like the first frame where I turn it on, you see my hand
yeah.
reaching back, and it was some phrase. So that's kind of like a weird fan fiction version.
As for the first question, you would actually be surprised by some of the things I cover in the sense that now, if you mean like for RCR, I generally just cover like the things that I do for RCR usually reflect my actual musical taste. But as far as like if I go to an open mic night, like the things I cover are pretty much, standard, like bog standard sort of pop, sort of, you know, folk, just Broadway, like it's all these things that a car guy doesn't listen to. And so I mean, it's not like I'm gonna be out here covering Lost Prophets anytime soon. Uh, ugh. But I think the problem is that everybody in entertainment has something problematic in their past. Not necessarily heinous crimes, but I remember it maybe would have been like 2 years ago on the podcast when the Kevin Spacey stuff first came out. And I mentioned how basically I wasn't going to like I don't value or respect or condone or anything what he did, but that I wasn't going to allow this person to sort of diminish the work of everyone else around him,
Mm-hmm.
where like even though Kevin Spacey is like garbage, I was still going to enjoy American Beauty and The Usual Suspects
Mm-hmm.
because those are still good movies. But now thinking about it, like I realize ever since I said that, I haven't seen a single Kevin Spacey movie because I realize I can't watch it anymore. Like it's
Oh,
too weird. Like
yeah,
like I can't do it.
yeah.
And so it's that thing where I thought in my head space that it wasn't going to affect me to that degree, but once you like read about the things, like, and that's the thing, like if you go into a deep dive about what some people have done,
Hmm.
it kind of makes it hard to separate the art from the artist, where
Gosh, yeah.
it's the same thing, like in wrestling terms, and I hate to keep bringing it up, but like Chris Benoit, like I can't watch a Chris Benoit match anymore. He freaking killed his like wife and kid with his own moves. Like, why would I want to watch it? He was one of the
Uh,
best to ever do it in terms of like technical wrestling, but no, he's a piece of garbage. He can burn in hell. Like I
yeah.
don't. It's just it's like the great Paul Heyman said. It's like 3 people died that night, but only 2 people had a choice, or only one person had a choice.
Oh,
And it's that type of thing where I just sometimes you can separate the art from the artist, but there are some circumstances where you really can't.
hmm,
And so I imagine, like, if I really went digging and found out what some of my favorite artists have done, I probably wouldn't be able to listen to them anymore. And
hmm.
I would hope that that's not being too sensitive, but it's just that it's so hard to separate what people would I would imagine it's a sort of cognitive dissonance that like maybe fans of ugh, I can't even think of an artist at the like R. Kelly or somebody
Mm,
have done. Although like R.
MJ.
Kelly's been MJ, yeah,
Yeah.
and like even though it was never proven in a court of law, and I still like enjoy Michael Jackson's music, but it's also that thing where in the back of my head I feel kind of bad for listening to it because it's like
It doesn't go away. Even
it,
my favorite MJ song is "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough."
yeah,
Yeah, and I'm like, half of it is like, okay, this is early Michael Jackson. This is disco era,
yeah,
off the wall. That may have been his first solo album. I forget.
yeah, I think so.
Anyway, you know, cover's great. Uh, Afro. It's just Michael Jackson. Like I don't know if the surgery began then or not.
No, I think he still had Thriller, and then after that was Bad, and that's when he started to kind of like look like modern Michael Jackson,
Yeah,
where when the vitiligo sort of like began to really
yeah.
manifest. Um, but yeah, no, I mean like it's weird because in a court of law, like he wasn't convicted, but like where there's smoke, you know what I mean? Like
Here it goes again.
it's
Yeah.
hard to know, like, and that's a thing of I mean, you want in a just system, you want people held to a certain standard of law so that a case can be properly adjudicated and people can sort of assess their feelings based off of how things play out.
Hmm.
But I feel like there's no closure. And I don't think there ever
That's
is
true. There
ever
isn't.
will
Yeah.
be, because there's no way to know for 100%,
Yeah.
because it's like I believe I don't even know what I believe. It's weird.
Uh, Yep.
It's complicated.
Yeah. Um. Where were we? That was a long one. So thank you, P. Melling. Kai Todd says, happily to finally catch one live and be able to donate some of my Google Rewards money. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the great content and keep it up. Thank you for being a fan of RCR and thank you for letting us have jobs. I stink. Hello, familiar face. Speaking of being fuel conscious, finally got my new daily, a Ford Fiesta with the 3-cylinder turbo. Quadruple the highway mileage of the hearse. Nice. And it's great. Thoughts on where American gas sippers should go in the future? They're going to go hybrid electric. They're going to go a lot of turbochargers. They're going to go what you have. It may take a lot to sell Americans on a 3-cylinder engine. We kind of scoff at it, and even I think like 3 cylinders. But um, it's 4 more. Yeah. So I think we're going to see what Volkswagen has done post Dieselgate is just go turbochargers on everything. Turbochargers that'll run on 87 octane and keep the fuel economy up to 40 miles per gallon that way. That's where I think it's going. Small forced induction.
Hey,
Thank you for your question.
we have a special request. Can you read the word rutabaga?
Rutabaga.
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 I don't know why,
All right.
but it's such a strange and pleasing word.
Is that the word that extras say in the background of a restaurant scene?
Oh, like rutabaga.
Maybe rutabaga.
I
We
haven't
just have a
eaten all day.
conversation, rutabaga, because it's a lot of mouth movements and
Yeah.
they silently just, or potato,
It
rutabaga,
was a potato, yeah,
rutabaga,
carrots.
potato, carrots.
Humans
Yeah.
destroy all humans. No, not really. Uh,
Swollen 97 said, or S Swollen 97 said, Mr. Regular, what are your thoughts on the RDJ episode of JRE? Did not listen to it yet.
Neither have
I will.
I.
I will.
Yeah,
Don't tell me.
I
Don't
don't.
tell me. I love RDJ.
Yeah,
So yeah.
no, he's great.
Yeah.
And that's another one where, like, can a person be separated from things they've done? And I think, like, Robert Downey Jr., more than anyone in recent Hollywood history,
Yeah.
has had a total redemption arc.
Yeah.
And the same way, like Johnny Depp was accused of, like, beating Amber Heard, like his wife and everything. And then it came out in court documents that she was actually the abuser.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, like, I guess Johnny Depp is kind of, well, he's disappeared, so he's not really on a redemption arc. And I guess Mel Gibson got a kind of redemption arc when he was, like, nominated for Hacksaw Ridge for directing, like, 2-3 years ago.
Mm.
But, like, I think it's generally still agreed upon that, like, he's still a pretty lousy guy. But I don't know that for sure.
Right.
It's still, yeah, I love seeing Robert Downey Jr. And the funny thing is that, like, this Doolittle movie is gonna bomb so hard.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, and the thing is, I don't want it to, because I want to believe that outside of Marvel, Robert Downey Jr. is a big deal. But, like, this and like Marvel and Sherlock Holmes are, like, the biggest hits that he's had.
Mhm.
Like, even Tropic Thunder, which is like a
Yeah,
cult
yeah.
hit, I don't think it made its money back in its original
Really?
run. I think where it got its money was in home video. I think.
Oh.
I mean, he was still nominated for an Oscar for it, which is, like, just fantastic
Yeah.
for me, because he's playing, like, a 5-time Oscar winner.
Yeah.
But
That's doing stuff just for Oscar bait.
yeah,
And then
and no actor has ever won 5 Oscars, which is just like, it's just what 5-time Oscar winner Kirk Lazarus. But yeah, and I think I saw it described on this Doolittle movie described best on Reddit as, like, it almost looks like one of the trailers that ran in front of Tropic Thunder, like a Kirk Lazarus movie, because you don't really know, like, who it's for. Like,
Yeah.
is it a kids movie? Is it an adventure movie? Is it
Yeah.
both? Yeah, it's
It reeks of Race to Witch Mountain or something like that.
yeah.
It will sell in China.
I think it is a play for China, like,
Yeah.
because you can always tell if there's, like, some sort of random detour to China, or if there's, like, a Chinese character who's presented in sort of a favorable or neutral light, which,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
it's,
a Mary Sue.
well, no, like, think about, like, like the Pacific Rim
Okay.
sequel. Like, I think there is a Chinese character in there who doesn't really get much to do, but, and that's the thing. Like, I would love to sort of see these characters, like, actually do more,
Yeah.
because it is what it is. But like, if you're gonna make a play, like, just, whoa,
Yeah.
it's insanely windy out.
Yeah.
It really is. You probably didn't even hear that, like,
Yeah.
shudder, but
So thank you for your question. Good question. Speedo Sausage says, ever since I started working security at a dealer car lot, I've learned to never trust used car dealers. What I'd like to know what you've seen. The amount of shitty cars we sell is insane. Yep, people need cars and they figure they should go to it. And I mean, you sell shitty cars to people who are shitty researchers. I'm guessing that's a lot of GM products from the 2000s. Not that Hyundais are bad. It's just going to be cars that haven't been maintained. A lot of arm roll in them. Yeah. I wonder if you can be an honest used car salesman, because I like the idea of that. That could be an RCR thing.
possibly.
I just do. Can you be honest with selling a used car? And of course, if you call the video that, it would abide by whatever rule that is. If the title is a question, the answer is no. So, how to honestly flip a car. And if I do that, it would be just me buying a 1999 Toyota Corolla. Be like, here it is. I find one that stuff I can fix with hand tools.
Yeah.
And of course, I probably would go to Bruce Hen, said, do, give me a pre-purchase inspection, and I would tally up all the stuff I would make, or all the stuff that would cost, including cost of registration, and then try to sell it on. But then you'd have to be honest, like you want to sell it at a price, like this would be like a $2,000 car. So I'd have to buy a Toyota Corolla for $1,000, which means I would be buying it probably deep into Reading or Lancaster or maybe like Philly. So I'd have to get it there, which means there's probably going to be like the body would be bashed in, maybe sideswiped here and there.
Yeah.
And tighten this guy down.
Yeah.
Let me mute yours.
I hit it a few times because I'm a genius.
Okay, I just muted Nick's mic so it doesn't pop when we edit it. As I crank it on.
It's nice and tight. Man, I gotta learn how to do accents. I really want to learn.
Yeah.
I just don't have the patience for it.
So, yeah. Yeah, good comment, Speed Sausage, and thank you for your donation. Aaron Real says, and thank you for your donation, Aaron. Hope everything is well with you too. Yep, just getting stir crazy. I'm waiting for it to significantly snow. We're supposed to get some on Saturday because I want to go skiing with folks again. What are your thoughts on the Toyota TRD Pro trim level and the types of people who drive them? TRD used to mean something. We talked about this in the Toyota review, and now it's just a badge. Yeah. So what used to be TRD is now TRD Pro Off-Road. So Mustang GT used to be the highest trim GT, and now it's the mid-tier. No, it's one step above the V6 is now the GT. Then you go GT this, that, and other thing. So it's feature creep. So TRD, TRD just licensed its own name all across, like Jack Daniels does with like branded restaurants and barbecue sauces. So yeah. So I don't think much. I get silly when people get excited whenever anything like post 1996 that has TRD on it. I don't really care. It meant something in the 80s and early 90s, and now it doesn't anymore. So you just have to look at what the car offers you. Like if you get like the TRD 4Runner. Again, I think 4Runners are cool, even modern ones. I mean, the 4Runner is neat because it's still a truck. It isn't really an SUV, a grocery getter, soccer mom SUV. That is a legit truck that you're buying there. So, kind of like an Expedition.
Speed of Sausage, is that the question that you were? Oh, that was the previous one. Sorry, he had a follow up that said he meant used car auction lots.
Oh yeah, I forget. It might have been a VinWiki story that. No, it was Car Wizard. In one of his videos, he was talking about how like it is super shady at auctions. Like, yeah, you can get a car for $400 and it's gonna need $3,000 worth of work in it. So yeah.
Which, I mean, that's just that's the risk you take.
Yeah. So either way, you're gonna work yourself back up to $5,000. So the answer is buy the $5,000 car straight up.
Mind if I take a detour into a non-super chat question here?
Yeah, sure.
This is kind of interesting. I know you guys want it is worth a try. I'm a 23-year-old legally blind car fan. I am now traveling to and from Philly to New York City. I was curious what you thought was good food near University City or Uni City. Which, I mean, I think part of
where is University City?
I'm not entirely sure. And I'm kind of hoping that people in the comments might be able to help out with recommendations.
I'm going to get a drink while you look at that.
Yeah, because I don't really know as much about the sort of Philly to New York stretch as I probably should. But if I were to sort of stop anywhere, I mean, I know it's overdone to death, but Primanti Brothers is really good. Depending on where they have locations now, because it's funny, we have one in sort of like the Lancaster area. I think we might have two in the Lancaster area, but once you leave sort of that sort of, the Tri-County area, you don't really see any. And then I don't know. The Basically any place inside the Reading Terminal Market in Philly is amazing food.
Yeah.
But like I don't actually, relative to where University or Uni City is.
The thing about Philly is we live kind of like at the opposite end of a triangle between Philly and New York. If I'm going to take public transportation to a major metropolitan area, I'm going to go to New York.
Yeah.
If I'm going to get on a bus to Philly, all right, now I'm in Philadelphia versus I'm in Manhattan. Philly's great, but it's not the same, man. I mean, Philly is going to the airport, maybe going to a game, and Philly's like Philly for me is going to Matt Walsh's house because he knows how to drive downtown and where the good garages are. So that's going to Philly is going to Lansdale and then driving from there.
Yeah.
Or maybe going to Lansdale and then taking a rail in. And then you can get around and go around. But I don't know how to navigate public transport at all. Even buses freak me out. You're fine with buses. But
yeah, which is strange because I have anxiety about like everything else. But I don't know. I looked up Yelp, and top responses for in and around University City include a Becky's Kitchen, which is African cuisine, the Han Dynasty, which is Szechuan, Goldie, which is like falafel, 48th Street Grill, so Caribbean, Tacos Don Memo, which is a food truck on South 38th Street, Reading Terminal Market, of course. It's like they have everything. I don't know. I really wish I could help out more. Hopefully, you're able to find decent food options.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me see if anybody in the comments said anything.
While you're doing that, Kai Todd says, "Oh, and by the way, Nick, your outfit is on point."
Thank you so much. I mean, I have I have my moments. I'll just say that. Someone said Geno's, which strangely enough, I've never been. Like, do I even count as a Pennsylvanian anymore if I live this close to Philly and I don't?
You either go to Pat's or Geno's. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
I had the Geno's. They opened a Geno's franchise back when they opened not Lincoln Financial, but the Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah.
They put a Geno's thing in there. Like I had a cheesesteak. Okay,
Yeah.
I had a Geno's cheesesteak at a Phillies game back when they had Patrick Dome. Anyway, big slugger. And I had it. And I remember I was there with my friend Matt Carlton, and we agreed like it was good. It wasn't $8 good, but it was good. Of course, now getting a cheesesteak for $8 probably anywhere at like an airport or something like that is definitely a plus.
Yeah, and one more recommendation was for Sweet Lucy's. I've never heard of it, but
Me neither.
Yeah, maybe the food is good. So yeah, go ahead.
Von Waffenbeard said, second question, why is it when I lock eyes with someone in a loud car, they have to rev it? Because dick.
Yeah.
Because penis.
Yeah. I mean,
that's it.
I mean, I think I'm a pretty big asshole right now sitting here with this belt on, but if I'm even if I lock eyes with someone in the street, I'm not going to rev and I'm not going to race with them. It's like, well, I mean,
fear the Essex engine.
Well, there's like
198 horsepower.
I mean, there's a difference between revving and then actually like racing. And so, I think people they want to flex. And if they have something that they want to flex with, because you got to think that this is someone who is maybe a car guy, but doesn't have anyone to be a car guy with.
Yeah.
So like they go to like their brother's house and it's like, hey, check out this engine. It's like, the brother's like, I'm sorry, but the only Hemi I have are hemorrhoids. Yeah. It's what I call them. It's just, it's people.
Remember that guy we were filming and the guy came up and just wanted to talk?
Yeah. And he was, Oh Come All Ye Faithful was like blaring from his truck. Yeah. And it's like 3 weeks after Christmas. Yeah. Very nice guy.
Very nice guy. And it's a lot better than, what did I say? The What He Is Doing guys. This guy was so cool. He wanted to talk about the car we were filming, and then he wanted to show us our cars or his cars. And he pulls out his phone like it's a bunch of kids. But you're right. The weird thing was it was cold that day.
It was freezing.
And he had his, appropriate enough, TRD truck, but truck's still running. door open, heater
keys
blasting.
in. Yeah, and and the stereo blasting.
And it was probably going
enough.
bong, bong, bong. You know, the door open chime. Oh wait, this is yours.
And it's
Sean,
just going on forever.
Just Junkhead 86 just says hot, brown, cold, yellow. Yep. Shout out to Tony Airlines if he's listening. He's well familiar with hot, brown, cold, yellow, which is the official food of any restaurant near the hotel, near the airport. He had some flight training the other day in the simulator, and he says, my options to eat are around this hotel is gas station, Chili's, and what was the third one? Gas station, Chili's, and something terrible like a Hooters or something nasty. And he went with Chili's, and I'm going to just see what the salad bar is like.
The girlfriend that I had when I first met you, and we used to hang out sometimes.
Yeah.
And she was a Hooters girl.
Yeah.
And so I would go there to kind of, just, visit. She didn't mind. And her manager didn't seem to mind. But every time I was there, I was kind of like, man, the food here is really bad. I was always kind of surprised. The wings are all right. That's fine.
Yeah.
The one time we went and then you did the wing eating contest.
I did the wing eating contest when I was in my deep ska phase.
Yeah.
And I was wearing waistcoats and ties casually everywhere. Kind of like that one character from Night in the Woods who just wears ties and hats everywhere. And I was wearing that in the suit contest with like a waistcoat, vest, shirt, everything, hat, like a tweed hat.
You were
people were cheering me on, like suit guy. The thing is, a wing eating contest isn't all that hard. It's just when they serve it to you, they come right out of the fryer and they're boiling. It's like you have to, be like Homer Simpson and just put wax in the inside of your mouth. You're going to burn yourself. Anyway.
Yeah. So just
Sean Brewer says no question, just saying hi. What's this name here? HA.Rob says you are a prophet. I bought a 2014 Focus ST because it was decent power while also having room for my 2 kids. 5 years later, I have a Chevy SS. Oh, you got a Chevy SS. You found one. Hope you got a good price, man. They're worth it. They are a lot of fun. Big 4-door car, fast, and no one knows it. And thank you for your donation.
Oh, and sorry if I'm always looking down at my phone. I'm either screenshotting super chats in case the thing crashes, or I'm screenshotting regular chat questions that I find interesting so that people don't feel like the only way to get noticed or question and answers pay. So yeah.
Patrick McFarland doesn't have a question, but twice he just donated. So thank you very much. We'll put your money to good use. And we have a talk about money right after I get done with Von Waffensberg again. Thank you for the info, Nick. Can't part with the boss. And I still have stock rims, so I'll just put snow tires on those and double my clearing efforts. Or cleaning efforts.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. This question is a non-super chat. It is and I just lost it. Nuts, wonderful. This Ryan Miller asked if we're doing the Lemons rally this year. The answer is no, unfortunately. Although I did have an offer from my friend Dieter.
Yeah.
Who I was kind of on the fence about possibly doing it, but then I thought about it and I'm like, I just don't think I have the stamina for that type of thing. It's it's continuous.
It's a week of driving. It's what it is. I have a team that I'd like to form in the future. We'll talk about that at some other time. But what I want to talk about is the RCR tours going on. And
that sounds so much more metal than it actually is.
RCR tours.
RCR tours.
I have a voicemail here from Fred. Don't give out. The worst is yet to come. Okay, so if anybody wants to draw like fan art, or shipping forecasts, in real life, the YouTube channel Down the Rabbit Hole, who does those documentaries, and me, I send him like I did my album like on 100 poop songs, but I haven't stopped making them. I just send them to Fred, and then he sends other ones back to me. So there's like this whole backstory between regular car reviews and Down the Rabbit Hole that exists.
Yeah.
So there will be a RCR Down the Rabbit Hole collaboration in May.
Yeah, more of a collaboration than the brief cameo Fred did in the
Mazda RX-7
yeah,
FC.
Oh, FC.
Yeah,
All right.
Foxtrot Charlie.
Yeah.
Mhm. So we are flying out to the Portland area where Frederick Knudsen lives, and we're going to be doing a bunch. We're going to be doing 4 cars out there. Frederick Knudsen will be our camera car driver, and it's interesting that Fred says he's not a. We run into these people who say they're not car guys,
Yeah.
but then they drive something really interesting. Like Fred for a while was dailing like, and he's going to correct me in a minute.
Yeah, probably.
But I think it was like an 85 Celica. It's like, that's his car. It's like an 85 Celica, like notchback or something like that, or a coupe. And I'm like, how are you not a car guy driving this cool vintage Toyota? He's like, oh, it's my parents, but I just take care of it. I'm like, clearly. And then friggin' Adler the Eagle from that channel, he rolls around in a turbo Mini Cooper, 6-speed. I'm like, I'm not really a car guy. It's like, you drive one of the best handling cars you can buy at that price point. I'm like, oh.
It's
So
like
anyway.
a law that the people who own the best things aren't necessarily in the best place to appreciate them. Like in terms of like the knowledge of what it is they have. Like they just think of it as a good car or my car.
Yeah.
And you know,
they like have good taste and no one ever told them that.
I mean, it's I've had teenagers tell me how cool my car is, and I'm convinced they're like taking the piss like half the time of just like, hey man, like I'll pull up to a Wawa, they're like, man, I like your car. I'm like,
it's like,
really?
It's a base model SN95 from 04.
But then I'm like, you're like 17, 16, 17, which is not to take anything away from teenagers. I just mean like the range of experience for cars. It's like I'm driving, so that makes me cool. Like that type of thing, maybe. Or like I'm driving something that isn't like sort of a mom, like I'm not driving.
That is true. Like the SN95 Mustang, like the more I look at it, like we can't, even though this is the recent past, we can't make a car that has a long hood like this unless it's a sports car. We can't make it as notchy as the style, this hyper aero style that it had isn't really around anymore, especially the way the back, and also the seating position is weird to me. You're used to it, but I'm like, this is like an aggressive sport low seat. And gigantic doors. That's another thing that's unique about that car. Its doors are like wings, are huge. And we don't really do that anymore. And also low to the ground. Like when you park up next to the curbs, it's like, oh, you got to watch curbs with those doors.
Yeah.
Anyway, other places, RCR Phoenix is happening. We're trying to find a location for the meet. I think there's like a big mall like called Metro Center, I think, in the Phoenix area.
Yes.
It's going to have to be in the middle of the week because that's when we're traveling, but it'll probably be an after work sort of thing, like 5 to 7. It'll be short because I don't know when that mall closes. And also we have an early flight out the next day, so we can't be up late. So it'll probably be like a 5 to 7 after work on like a Thursday at this mall. As far as a RCR Pacific Northwest meet, I don't know. We'll have to see if there's a place big enough, because now we're talking the Portland area, and land value there is way higher than it is in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Also, where did I want to go? Oh yeah, to fly to Portland, Philly doesn't do direct.
No,
American doesn't do direct Portland. We either got to change planes in Denver, which is go all the way to Texas and then back up again, or Chicago. So I probably have to choose like a Chicago flight.
Well, are we going to Arizona first?
We're going to Arizona first.
So we can't go from Arizona to Portland?
Oh, we're not doing them consecutively.
RCR
Phoenix is in March. That's the screw this winter thing. And RCR Pacific Northwest. And I say Pacific Northwest, not Portland, because I want to film cars on the mountain road that leads up to St. Helens. So we got some people from Washington, from the Seattle area, that'll meet us down there near St. Helens to do some filming there. So That's why we're calling it Pacific Northwest. And also, I haven't been up to St. Helens since I was like in middle school. So, um,
Yeah.
my aunt used to live in Seattle. She lived there when St. Helens erupted. So that was like a huge deal for her. She didn't stop talking about that. I was really little at the time, so I don't really remember it.
Yeah.
But that was like what she talked about for a month. I guess it had to be freaky for those people who lived through that. That yes, we had a volcanic eruption on U.S. soil and was huge and was devastating. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. So that was really it.
Yeah. I had a question from the normal chat, and then the person went and commented it as a super chat. So I guess we'll get to it. But
Okay,
I don't know. It was about death of the author, which is interesting.
that
Um,
is interesting. It's a
but
question that just keeps continuing.
yeah, but I do have a regular question, which is as like, oh wait, where did it go? Jeez, why am I so bad at this? Um, Humans. Let's see. Well, first, Aaron Hanen wants to know how my mom's Explorer is holding up. Hope she's still enjoying it. It's holding up well, to my knowledge. She hasn't called me and said anything's wrong with it. And so, yeah, thanks for asking. And then Trace says, I live in Alabama. My only question is, how do truck nuts make you feel? Um, I. I guess it's one of those weird things where it's almost like those headlight eyelashes,
Yeah,
where there are different levels of offense for certain car decorations. But at the end of the day, I mean, people are going to do what they're going to do. I try not to think about it in terms of something that you need to necessarily think less of a person over. It's just truck nuts really aren't my thing and I don't get it. So I just sort of leave it there. And it's just like, well, okay, and I know that's antithetical to the whole notion of what it is we do, but it's something where I try not to really extrapolate who this person is just because, they have truck nuts, even though that's,
there was a one episode of The Dollop where they talked about that, like the history of the guy who invented it, and like there was another guy who invented something similar, like parallel thinking, and both of them got in a feuding war with each other. Uh, that truck nuts are older than what we think they are. They go back to the 90s, but it just took a while for them to take off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's so strange of like who gets the idea and from where, from whence has it come?
Yeah. Well, people who really, really like Hooters. Yeah. Like
That's true.
truck
Well,
nuts.
there you go.
Where are we here?
I think you got to refresh.
Ma
Oh wait, no, you already did. Never mind. Mockenmeyer Productions.
Love your car reviews and look forward to each video release. Thank you.
Thank
No
you.
question.
Hey,
Thank you for your
thanks.
donation. All this is going toward RCR Phoenix and RCR PNW. Adam Moore. Oh, there was one other collaboration that people have been asking for, and I want to make happen, and I don't know how because he's busy, we're busy. It's RCR and lazy game reviews. Yes, I want to see. These are two like congruent things. Like we review stuff that moves around, and the guy he never really says his name in the review, so I don't know if I can say the LGR guy's name.
Yeah. So
He reviews things that don't move. You can't ride. You ride virtually or something. So I don't know how a collaborate. I'd like to do a collaboration with LGR, but I don't know how it would go. And like he emailed us like 3 years ago, and I found his email recently. It's like, oh, I was supposed to do something with him, and I'm like, hey, it's 3 years later. I'm still interested. And he said, yeah, me too, but schedules and junk. So, what I was thinking was, I would like do one of his videos and he would do one of mine, or we just do like guest spots on each other. Or like I could bring him a car. It would be neat to bring him like a car that was a computer revolution in automobiles. But then again, like the idea of like a car's ECU isn't really a computer. I mean, it is in that it takes information, does something with it, and spits out other information. But it's not something you can go in and you boot. Really, it's sort of just like this ROM box. that just applies values to these values.
Yeah.
So you could bring him like a Buick Rietta that had an early touch screen in it, like touch screen in like the early 90s. That could be a thing. Or we could talk about CAN bus. Well, that's kind of boring. But then again, he made a really successful video on the IRS outage of 2018 or something like that, or 17.
Maybe.
Anyway, so it'd be interesting. Even if I could just hang out with the guy, it'd be cool.
Someone was saying we should do a collab with Sarah and Tuned.
I'm afraid I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, channels pop up all the time. Oh no, they've been around for 7 years. Oh, okay. I mean, people discover RCR like all the time. Do. Adam Moore says, "Howdy guys, have you ever spotted anybody out in the wild you didn't know wearing an RCR merchandise?" No.
Yeah, no, not out in the wild. I mean, I've
No.
been recognized out in the wild, but I never run into anyone who wears an RCR shirt. Although my friend Brad will like sometimes I'll run into him and he'll be wearing like the RCR logo shirt. Like he'll just have it on and
Yeah.
not even like knowing that he's gonna run into me or anything like that. But
Hmm.
that's about as close as I've come.
Yeah. Olok says, "Just checking in and saying hello. Hope you both are doing well. Always looking forward to each week's new video." Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Olok.
It's
Thank you
very
so much for
touching.
your donation. We'll put it to good use. P Melling.
Yep.
P Melling 2293. Thank you for answering my question. I appreciate you donating a second time.
Yes.
Cheers and beers. Workforce 520. Hello. Hello from work. Hello. Keep it pointed straight or whatever you're doing at this particular moment. Thank you, Workforce 520. Stephen Ratmensky. Thank you for your donation, Stephen. Hello, fellows. What are your thoughts on a 1999 Ford Escort with a standard transmission and 120,000 miles? I was thinking 1,500 for it. It depends like how good the body is. When you're talking about a domestic car, you're going to be looking at rust issues unless you're like in the Southwest or maybe Florida where they don't really get rust. I'd be concerned about the body. I'd be concerned about the fuel system, and electrics not so much. Yeah, body fuel, and then with a car of that age, your bushings and like rubber joining materials, such as tie rod ends, sway bar lengths, sway bar mounts, maybe even engine mounts, maybe going. So that would be a thing to look at. That's put on your boiler suit and get underneath that car with a big flashlight and start looking, or one of those tiny pen lights. Good question. Yeah, fuel system and rubber and body. You're going to be looking at the underside of the car anyway.
Rust.
Yeah. Good question. Thank you, Steve. Eric P., thank you for your donation. Good to see you guys. Jetta is going away soon. Good riddance. Looking for something fun and reliable that isn't a Miata. Well, it's going to be a Corolla, isn't it? Corolla.
Yeah.
Corolla. Is that Eric Pedersen? Eric P. Looks like Eric. Yeah.
Oh,
Eric.
yeah. Eric. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is strange because his other times
I thought he had a no. Wait, he did have a Jetta.
Did he?
And by the way, congratulations for getting congratulations on the wedding.
Yeah.
Sorry we're not going to be able to be there. I did get your invitation to your wedding. Sorry we can't make it. We have other RCR stuff to do. Have a lovely time. But yeah, dude, stick shift Corolla, rev the nuts off of it. Stick shift Corolla, or if you have the money, Honda Accord 6MT with the V6 in it. That'll be fun all the time for 87 octane. The most fun you can have with cheap gas. Yeah, so Corolla manual transmission or Honda Accord 6MT.
Sounds about right.
Speed Sausage says,
"Oh, that was from earlier. He meant used car auction lot."
Oh, right.
And then the next person whose name and message are redacted but donated $1. So thank you to whomever you were or are. I mean, because I presume you still exist.
Mm-hmm.
Iced Ink. How many bees? I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
How many bees? Is he doing like the how many bees for a quarter thing? Like that I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Probably because I made wait, no, I didn't make a Simpsons thing. Mr. Hikula 100 in I want to say South Korea money. I don't know. What is the SEC? Someone please enlighten me because I'm a
Spain? Spain uses euros unless they still have their own ones. I don't know.
yeah, I'm a moron. I have no idea what currency is what. But thank you
But
very
thank you.
much. Thank you so much. Baloney 77, $10. Thank you. Have you ever had an Isuzu Trooper offered for review? My parents had an 87 when I was growing up and would love to own one again. Love your content. Thanks. Thank you for the question.
I'd have to check my email, regularcars@gmail.com. Your make, model, city, state, and the title of the email. No. I can't recall yes or no if I had an Isuzu Trooper offered. I know they had big rollover problems back in the day, but I think I'd like one, but I can't recall. I would love to own one again. See, that is a car I'd never think to own because my memories of them are just all kind of negative. Um.
Oh, it's Swedish krona.
Ah.
Is SEK. There we go.
I mean, we'll keep an eye out. Again, we all have nostalgic things for stuff that.
Yeah, that maybe hold a special place in the heart, even though they aren't necessarily
Yeah.
well regarded.
Right. Mr. Hi.
Oh, we did him already.
Oh.
We're up to Speed of Sausage again. Thank you again for $2. Opinion on Scotty Kilmer.
Okay. People want to scoff on Scotty Kilmer because some of his advice may have been not completely accurate. I learned a lot from him, and see when you want to give your opinion of someone, you almost have to imagine that he's sitting right here and address him as such. So and not in Clint Eastwood talking to a chair that way.
I can play Scotty Kilmer. Well,
right. I'm not going to pretend it's you.
Yeah.
It's like Henry Rollins said, you don't want to say anything to imagine that person is coming around the corner. Scotty Kilmer has his opinions about cars that are his. And from what I gather, he's not really interested to playing to the crowd. And for that, he is very entertaining. I greatly enjoyed his videos when I was younger. And he helped basic car knowledge, helped me a lot when I was working on my Toyota Echo. I think a lot of the criticism comes from the you can see I'm choosing my words. I think it's unreasonable to ask someone who's older than your parents to be savvy with social media and to understand the nuances that go into building your brand. I have the same challenges when talking to some of my friends who get really upset about people who say things to each other on Facebook. Like I saw like this gym argument about some people. You said this to me about Facebook. These are very healthy young men with muscles acting like some young adult novel, this he said she said stuff on Facebook. I'm like, this is comical. I will continue lifting my 125-pound bench as you guys go at each other. So what do I think? Opinion on Scotty Kilmer? I don't really have one anymore, and neither should you.
Yeah.
He's going to do his own thing. You work on being successmatt Thank you so much. And thank you for allowing us to be successful, by the way.
And to go off of that, Matt Kale asks if RCRs are full-time jobs.
Yes.
And yes, it is.
Yes.
It's we're very fortunate, and it's all thanks to you guys. So thank you very much. And also, what are other? Oh, the next super chat
Is
is
message redacted or deleted, but thank you for the
thank you for a
dollar.
dollar. The Sunglass Kid. Oh, this is the Death of the Author thing.
Mm.
Sorry I didn't get to your question
The
before it was super
Sunglass Kid
chatted.
is like this reoccurring bad guy in like some JRPG that's easy to beat every single time, but he just shows up to be annoying. Not that you are.
No, we're just talking about a hypothetical Sunglass Kid. Like one of the like Reno from the no Rude was the one in Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
VII
the
with
Turks.
the
Yeah.
Turks. Can you separate the car from the means it was created, i.e., Death of the Author, but for cars? Example: Hitler and the Beetle, Ford and Ford, Musk and Tesla. And I would say, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, like part of it is understanding that the I think time has sort of separated. It's like, you know, levels of viscosity and fluids separating.
Yeah.
Like certain things are sort of divorced from the history surrounding them, so that you end up in a place where you don't necessarily think about the history or where the thing came from. You end up just consuming the product. And I mean, like, it's tricky because with the Beetle, it's like, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, I think for a car to be successful, I think for a lot of people to continue to live their lives in a consumer industry,
Yeah.
they have to, divorce the author from the creation,
Right.
because it passes through many hands that essentially take the product, hopefully, away from whatever negative connotation surrounded its creation,
Mm-hmm.
so that by the time you get to the modern era, you don't necessarily think of, hey, this is the car that so and so created.
Mm-hmm.
This is a car that stands on its own and that has no uh, connection to the ideology of the person who created it.
Right.
So that now you're in a place where you can actually consume product, because if we had to hold every creation to a moral standard, I don't think
Right.
capitalism would exist.
No.
So it's hard to do, but you can do it. So I don't know. I guess that's my answer on that.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
Crazy Ivan 2 times. Wind taken out the power at the office. Surprise podcast. Yeah. We had power outages earlier today, or I did at least, and then they had one. I think I heard Amanda talking about it. Amanda is someone who owns the cafe where we go to a lot. Talking about that they had a power outage too. Just wind blowing down. One of the neighbor's trees blew down, or half of it blew down like a gigantic branch. Aaron Reel, thank you for your generous donation. Follow-up question: if you could afford a Ford Runner, would you buy one? Yeah, I looked at a 4Runner as one of the possible replacements for Goldie, my Subaru camera car, but because the modern ones, it seems to have everything I need, including a rear window that rolls down, very comfortable road trip car, big time, but it is a big vehicle. It would be difficult to drive in small towns. It'd be great off road, although how often do I need to go off road? Even in my Subaru, I don't.
Yeah.
Um, that's a $40,000 car new. And I am going to have Justin Kramer replace the head gaskets pretty soon. We're creeping up to 200,000 miles on my Subaru, and it's time. So, and now that means that car is good for another 100,000 miles. So I don't need to get a 4Runner anytime soon. And maybe the current generation 4Runner in the next like 5 years or something like that. If I drive the Subaru for another 10 years, or another 5 years, then they'll come down in price. I could go for a 4Runner for $20,000. I think that's pretty reasonable for the amount of truck you get from that. Anyway, so the rest of your question says, I would love that roll down rear window. Yeah, just talked about it. And I'm on the fence of buying one much. See you in Chicago. I mean, they're not cheap. But they hold their value. I wouldn't buy one new. I mean, it's a Toyota. Certified pre-owned Toyota would be fantastic. And I think the current generation is wonderful. The engine's a bit dated, but then that means parts are unavailable. Get on those forums and learn everything there is to know about it before buying it. But good question. Good question. Hydrilla says V6 fourth generation Forerunner or okay. Oh boy, this is a big question. V6 fourth gen Forerunner or 2004 to 2005 Forester XT. Uses to include commuting, camping, road trips, and adventure. Because you put commuting in there, you're going to go with the Forerunner. Because that Forester XT needs 93 octane.
Yeah.
And the Forerunner, see, you get the Forester XT, you're only getting 215 horsepower. Yeah, it's a turbo, but they're not that quick. They're quick-ish, but they're not blazing fast. And I drove two of them. I drove two Forester XTs, one modded that was pretty darn quick, and one regular one that was, I guess it pulls kind of good up a hill. But then realizing that you're going to be paying more for fuel for something that isn't much faster, has a heavier clutch, and is more expensive, and now has a turbo. So great. So yeah, I'd go with the Forerunner over the Forester XT. If it was a V6 fourth gen Forerunner versus a regular Forester like mine, then yeah, go the Forester. But since you wanted that turbo, I'd go for the Forerunner.
Might as well.
Very legal and very cool. Which would be the best college ski car for the Pacific Northwest? 2007 Volvo XC70 with all-wheel drive with 215,000 miles, yikes, or an all-wheel drive Previa?
From the mid to late 90s.
Yeah, the answer is Toyota RAV4. It's not either of those things.
Yeah.
See, a Previa has that big shaft that runs the front of the car to run all the accessories, and you got to have someone who knows how to work on those things. Volvo XC70 all-wheel drive at 215,000 miles. Again, the Volvo, you're going to have to pay a shop to look at that thing, saying what is going to break on that thing. Yeah, your answer is RAV4, man. That's your answer. Thank you for your donation.
Thank you.
My throat is starting to go. It's been a while since I did a podcast, so it's hard for me to. I'm going to blow my voice out because I haven't talked this much. So please, no more super chats.
Yeah.
I need to go get a lozenge and
the sign.
Yeah, and the sign. Yeah.
And while you do that, I'll answer a regular chat question, which is Grant Smith, Roman, what are your thoughts on the new Mazda 3? And for the most part, I'm kind of I'm kind of ambivalent in the sense that, in the true sense of the word, which is that I'm not really sure how to feel because I kind of like it, but I also, the styling kind of puts me off in that, again, with the angry look. Like, I just don't get why it has to be so. But I get why it has to be so, but I would prefer that it weren't. But would I drive that car? Like, heck yeah, I would drive that car. But I am curious to find out what it's like. And so, and I would like to sort of see one up close. That's one of the many reasons I'll be at the New York Auto Show this year. Many reasons, just because I love going there. I love any excuse to sort of hang around in New York City for a day, and any time that I get to go to the New York Auto Show, it's always a fun time. Their coffee game is so on point, and I don't know. I don't know what kind of video I'm going to make out of it this year, because I feel like last year's video, like I tried to sort of straddle the line between informative and just doing like a car show riffing video. And that was kind of hard because I can't come up with jokes like off the top as easily as like sort of Brian does, or at least the jokes that I come up with really aren't that good off the top of my head. So I got to like really think and write something. And, you don't always have time for that. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the New York Auto Show, which I always wait until the last minute to apply for anyway. So it's one of those weird things.
And where I'm going to speak quieter. I'm going to be up on the mic now because my voice is going. Curtis Lynchfield from Alberta. We'll try to come to Portland and meet. Wow, that's a drive. And bring my Saab 9000 Turbo for you to film. It's a 1986 Survivor that was Grandpa's. That's 9,000, not 900. Um, by the time we go to Portland, we'll have already filmed our 4 cars. So I don't know about filming. And again, I don't know. I'd like to have a Portland meet, but again, we'd have to find a place where we could do it, where it would be safe.
Mm,
I'm very honored that you would drive all the way from the prairie land of Canada to Portland. Um, and thank you so much for your donation. Thank you, Chris.
thank you.
Mr. Halunka
Oh, hey, Kula.
Hukula.
Here's a few more bucks. Keep up the good work. Loving the channel and the community. Y'all have been so helpful and supportive. Well, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, and thank you for your donation. I appreciate it.
Oh, Tony
Hey, it's Tony
Richardson, Tony
Richardson.
Airlines.
Oh, I'm very honored that Tony, you would give me your airplane money. Um, took me flying and didn't ask for anything in return. I owe you a beer. Tony Richardson, don't delay. Donate today at
Kunkelman
Kunkelman Chevrolet.
Chevrolet.
Also, hi Nick.
Hi, Tony.
Tony Airlines will be featured in a future RCR journal, or rather a Mr. Regular diary, about flying, where Tony took me flying, and I flew plane. I did an airplane. I did one fly. I did one aim the plane. He was a very good teacher in that he didn't overcomplicate things. He didn't say like roll the plane left or pull it back or pitch up, pitch down. What Tony said was fly over there. He just pointed.
Just go.
Just go. And then like instinctively like treated the yoke just like it was a car and just turn yoke, plane fly. Plane go down, stop go down. Plane go up. Um so yeah, that was a lot of fun. We got some good footage from that. Steven Ratmensky says, "Do you ride dirt bikes and stuff? If so, 2 or 4 stir." Don't know
Huh.
what that means. Two or
Wait, if
four.
two, huh.
Hmm. Do I ride dirt bikes? I owned a dual sport for a while. I'm not very good in the dirt. I like street bikes. If so, 2 or 4 stir. I guess it means like a 4-wheeler. I don't know what to mean.
Maybe?
So yes, motorcycles are good. Thank you for your donation. Don't know what that last part of the question was about.
But
Again, please no more super chats. This is the end of the podcast.
Baloney 77, this is a follow up from earlier, and I specifically pulled up the super chat from earlier. This is the guy with the Isuzu Trooper,
Mm-hmm.
or who wanted another Isuzu Trooper, and who is agreeing in his super chat. So thank you for $2. That yes, the want for that car is all nostalgia. So hey, nothing wrong with that.
Speed Sausage again. I'm
Thank you
flattered
so
you keep
much.
donating. Thank you so much. Have you guys ever seen that one Bootsville
Oh,
EV
Bousset?
Boosset Evo opinion? I don't
I
know
have
what that.
not.
No, I
I have
don't know
not.
what that is. I'm sorry. Thank you
I
so
wish.
much for the donation, but I don't know what that is. We're
Um,
reaching the end of the podcast, so again, no more super chats, please. We're gonna cut this, have it up on iTunes and all the sources, and then I'm going to the gym. Cameron Mayan,
Maine,
Cameron
maybe.
Maine. If given the opportunity, would you guys ever guest star in an installment of Internet Historian's Sundance Rejects?
I would love to.
I would love to guest spot in Internet Historian's Sundance Rejects. What do they talk about on Internet Historian's Sundance
It's
Rejects?
sort of like um it's hard to describe. It's almost like they take sort of film type things. I don't know. They did like this Jeff the Killer type uh, short, mini short that was voiced by different people. Um, oh, how to describe it? I guess it's just skits
Hmm.
mostly.
Hmm.
Oh, there. PBS documentaries, but for internet culture. So
Okay.
yeah.
Boris T.S. Karloff. has a old RCR meme that says Nixon, 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 Bob Evans, Nixon, Nixon, Nixon. Thank you, Boris T.S. Karlov. And thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. It will be put to good use. CTR Lee. I'm about to have my first car out of college. Should I buy a new one or used? Please buy a used one. Yes, buy used. Love your content and keep up the good work. Thank you, CTR.Lee. Thank you for your donation. And
Oh,
again, it is Boris T.S. Karloff.
yes.
Do you? Oh, wow, look at that.
No, no, no. That's the Boosette Evo that the Speed of Sausage was talking about. It's
Yeah.
just splashed with an anime character on it. I don't actually know who or what
I'm a
Boosette is.
man. I like boobs. See the boob on my car. This is a boob I can have any time. I am that much of a man. I put boob on so people know where to find the boob lover. Mhm. Do you feel the Trabant is interesting? Yes, I do. I would very much like to drive a Trabant. If so, what appeals about it to you? Well, it's very different. It's very old, and it's from a driving culture that we don't have in the United States. So I want to experience it. Thank you for your donation.
Dark Claw. $5. I love how you guys roast even the best car. I wonder when you guys will roast a second gen Chrysler 200. Wait, why am I being quiet? My voice.
Mm.
I have one and would love to hear the snark. Um, hey, shoot an email, regularcars@gmail.com. City, state, make, model, all in the subject heading. In the body, give
Mm-hmm.
details, phone number,
Mm-hmm.
place where you can be reached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the Chrysler 200 and how it's really just a Chrysler Cirrus, I think. Something else. Chrysler Sebring, I think.
Mm.
Please, no more super chats. This is the end of the show. I know there may be some more. Yes, there's some more. There's one more. Dr. Jones will be the last super chat here. Thank you, Dr. Jones. Uh, Thank you for $5.
$5.
No
And
questions. So yeah, that is it.
yes,
That is the end of the show.
that is the end of
And
the show.
um,
So yeah, that's pretty much the lay of the land.
yeah,
I don't have any more questions from the regular chat because I
nope,
wasn't fast enough at screenshotting them.
that's
And
okay.
but anyway, we are going to put this up on the normal avenues for getting the podcast. That includes
Hmm.
iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. I don't know what's up that I can't get it back on Google Play. I'm having trouble. I'm trying to fix it. It'll be up at some point.
Hmm.
I just don't know when.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll get back to doing these a little more
Someone said you
regularly.
missed mine.
Oh, Nick, please. Oh, wait, which one? Wait, who said you missed mine?
This guy.
Oh, Ryuji Sakamoto. I will find it. Let me see. Screenshots.
How do I control? How do I control? There it is. Find on this.
It'll be a race.
It's not coming up.
1 second. Very legal and cool.
Again, not coming up. I'm doing a search for it. How about a search for the letter R? All right. Command Z. R. Y. Only one. It
Uh,
seriously isn't there at all?
just ask it again right now, and if you're still there.
Yeah, ask it again and then we'll answer it. Yeah, it's not showing up on YouTube's end, so just ask it again. Glad hearing from you guys. That was Tony. I'll send $2. You don't have to send money again.
Yeah.
Right? You
Just
can
ask it.
just ask it in the regular chat.
Yeah.
Speaking
Oh,
of West
that
Virginia,
one.
does
Okay.
Brian really
Or
have Volkswagen? No.
speaking of Volkswagen, does Brian really hate Volkswagen?
Oh
Is it?
no,
It's
I don't. It's a comical hatred, and because everybody needs a villain, and the character Mr. Regular hates Jettas.
yeah.
Of course, the real guy Brian also hates boats in real life. So eventually we'll do a boat, and it'll be genuine. I don't understand pleasure craft at all. This is stupid. And it comes like I hate boats because I hate wave runners, because all riding a wave runner or a watercraft is some guy who's in better shape than I will ever be blows a whistle at me and tells me to get back here because I watercrafted too far.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Watercraft. Pleasure craft.
Yep.
But yeah, if that is all of it, I would like to thank you all for joining us on this impromptu. Well, it wasn't impromptu; it was planned on our part. But I know that a lot of you weren't really expecting one. But again, I'll try to give you guys a little more notice next time. And until next time, I am Nick.
I'm Brian.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Have a good night. And we are clear. And we're out on there. Turn the mic offs here.
I'm the second best Nick who's a world champion.